If you're trying to build links for your e-commerce website or any website for that matter, I wanted to talk through some strategies today, what to look out for, how to build good links, and how to avoid bad links and kind of bad strategies. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. But let's talk about link building. Now, link building is one of the most annoying aspects of SEO, in my opinion, simply because it takes quite a lot of time, it takes a lot of investment to get good quality links. And also there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of companies that will sell you shitty links and will sell you on packages and will just try and promote your website on as many websites as they can. You think you're getting a good deal and you pay hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars for whatever links they're getting you. And then in the end, you're left wondering why this hasn't worked. So I just wanted to talk about my experience with link building and how I go about doing it with my clients as well. And hopefully you can take some insight from this. So first of all, there's a couple of link building strategies. There's many more than this, but these are kind of like the most, notable ones. First off, we have digital PR. Now this is where you get your brand or your website kind of published through different PR packages, I suppose. And so it'll be quite often you'll do it with a company. They'll create kind of a PR, a press release about your business, and then they'll try and get that published on a lot of news sites. And so quite often this costs lots of money, into the thousands of dollars to do, because you work with a company. It's generally on a campaign level where they'll create a campaign for you. They'll send it out to all these journalists and hope that you get a couple of links back from that. Quite expensive when done correctly. So if you're getting PR kind of pushed to you and it's very cheap, which I'll get into later in this video, then it's something to kind of keep an eye on, because it's not cheap to do that. Often if you do it correctly, it can be very effective. You can get lots of high DR links. But as I said, it can be quite expensive to do. Secondly, the most popular one probably is guest posting. Now, guest posting, you reach out to sites. Often they'll allow you to kind of publish an article on their website. You write the article, you place a couple of links within that article back to your website. It's an easy way to get some links, because there's quite a lot of websites that will just openly say that they do guest posting. Not my most favorite. It is very effective, but the thing I like about it is you need to then supply traffic and more referring domains to that guest post. Whereas link insertions, which is kind of my favorite, is finding websites that are already ranking, finding pages that are already ranking. They already have traffic, they already have referring domains, and then you request a link, or you kind of provide information and provide value to then get a link back on a page that's already out there. Now with guest posting, SEO is a long process, right? We're trying to rank our website in the search results, and we're trying to, over time, get more and more traffic to it. The same thing happens with a guest post, where if you publish a guest post, day one, you've got zero traffic. There's no one going to that website, or that page, I should say. They're not going to link to that page from within the rest of their website. They're not just going to do that out of the kindness of their heart. They're just trying to take the fee and get you posted on their website. And so again, you need to provide traffic to that page, or you need to provide more links to that page. Link insertions, you skip that page, skip that step. You find pages that are already ranking, that already have traffic to it, ideally referring domains as well, and then you get a link within that page itself. Now, linkable assets, this is talked about a lot by like big companies, agencies, where they'll say, create good quality content, create infographics, and people will naturally link to you. I can tell you now that unless you're like a massive company, it's just not going to happen. Like me, I'm a small business. No one really knows me. If I make an amazing infographic, how is anyone going to see that? Why would anyone link to that? It's just not going to happen. And so realistically, for small businesses, for the brands that I work with as well, like it may be possible if you get, some sort of linkable asset within a digital PR or within a link insertion or something like that. But realistically, like if you're just making good quality content and making nice infographics or images or whatever else and hoping that you're getting links, it's just not a very good link building strategy in my opinion. Next, we'll move on to foundational directories. Now a lot of these are kind of no-follow links. Now, do follow and no-follow links. I'll talk about that in a second. They're just different types of links, but basically these don't necessarily help build, they're not going to do too much from a traffic building perspective, but what they do is they kind of put more references to your brand online, which does help. Same with like having lots of social profiles, and it's part of it as well. Making sure that your brand is mentioned online in all these different social platforms, these different directories that have reputation and stuff. That's something that we do at the start, just to make sure that your brand, or the internet knows that your brand exists, basically. Now, finally, we got help a reporter out, or Harrow, and reactive PR. Now, this is most of the time free, which is great, except it's a little bit more difficult to kind of get the links. So basically, there's websites, one's called Harrow, I'll show you in a second, that you can respond to journalists with some expertise or with some opinions or whatever. And if they like it, they'll then take that quote and put it in their article or whatever they're posting, and then they'll send, give you a link back as a result. Now, this is an example. So help a reporter out. It was taken out for a while, but it's just been like revamped from a company. Basically, you subscribe to this. There's a bunch of other sites as well. Quoted with a Q, QWOTED. It's another one. Featured is another one. Source Bottle is another one as well. Basically, this one, they'll send you an email like this once or twice a day. Basically, you see the evening edition. They'll have all these different kind of articles that journalists are writing about, and then if it fits, your brand or your thing, you click on that, you reply to them, and you give them, some opinions, some expert advice, whatever, and then they can seem like more an authority with their article as a result of your expertise. So you just go in here. Often, like, I'll go through these. There won't be anything from my clients, so we just leave it, but sometimes there will be. So you see here, looking for a healthcare professional that uses AI for patient engagement. So if that matches you or brand or somewhat, and you can kind of give some advice on that, then you reply to that, and hopefully you can get a link on a good website. So this is Jotform. Let's see. So you can see here, this is on Jotform, which is a pretty big, reputable website. So if you provide, some good advice, you can get a link on a site like this, which is going to do wonders for your brand. So as I said, it's relatively, it's just time consuming. It's free, but if you can get links and you can be successful with it, then you can get some great links as a result. Now, that's kind of a lot of the strategies. There's many more, but these are the main ones that I look at when it comes to e-commerce. And mainly I'm looking at link insertions and reactive PR, simply because I think they're the most effective, and they're somewhat the easiest to do on a smaller budget. Digital PR, I want to get into that a bit more, but you need higher paying clients, so you can kind of invest the time and the effort into that. And as I said, guest posting, I just feel like it doesn't have as much of an effect. So that's kind of different strategies. Before I move on, I just wanted to talk about do follow and no follow links. So you might have heard that before. Basically, a do follow link will be displayed like that on your backend software or whatever. And a no follow, we'll say no follow, right? The difference here is a do follow link is a link that basically tells a search engine to follow that link. And what that means is if you have a link on a website and it's a do follow, Google and all the other search engines will now go to pass through that link, go to the next website and have a look at that website and kind of have some benefit, right? A lot of foundational directory links will be no follow links, which basically mean that your link is there, but it doesn't pass on any link juice. So if Google gets to this link and it's got a no follow tag on it, you're telling Google you don't want Google to follow that link and check what's on the other end. So it doesn't pass on as much authority. So they still help, but they're just nowhere near as effective. So you're aiming for do follow links when you do your link building strategies. All right, that brings us on to the next step, which is quality is much better than quantity. Now, there'll be plenty of sites and plenty of people that will tell you need to build as many links as possible. That is true to an extent, but quality links always outweigh quantity, the amount of links that you build, right? So I've got two examples here. This is a link that I built for a client, and this is one, they actually did their own like digital PR type thing. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But basically, this is a link that they got from that company, and this is the link that I've built, right? So you can see here, these metrics, right? DR right here, this gives the amount of domain authority, basically. It's a third-party metric. So the higher the DR, the better, most of the time. So you can see here, the link that I've built was a 34. So it's not tiny, but it's not massive. Whereas here, you've got a 71. Now, if all we saw was DR, you'd pick a 71 over a 34, much better. This is out of 100. And so naturally, these brands that do these PR campaigns will say, hey, we'll get you lots and lots of DR70, DR80, DR90 links. But if you look at all the other metrics, you can see that it's just not doing anything. So next we've got the domain traffic. So the one that I bought, we've got 17,000 people visiting that website. So the website's actually legit, actually has traffic. This one here, there's 2. So it's non-existent. It just doesn't get any traffic whatsoever. The next thing, the page traffic. I was pretty happy with this one here. We got 472 people go to this specific page. So domain is on the entire website. Page traffic is on the actual page that your link insertion was. Should have mentioned that this was all link insertions, right? And again, this one here, it's got 0 page traffic. So what this does, when there's 472 people a month visiting this website, that's good positive signals to Google that, hey, lots of people are on this site and looking at this link. Some people might even click that link. So it's all positive signals, and it's going to do really well for the client. And then finally, referring domains here. So this is the amount of links that this page has as well. So there were 3 referring domains that were pointing to this site. So this actual page had other sites linking to it, which is great. And then here we can see again, there's no referring domains to this page here. So this just shows like the amount of, this one here, this was part of about to show you like 500 link package. So you get 500 DR70 links or whatever. You think that's amazing, but really I'll guarantee you that this one link here is going to do much better than all of these links combined because of all these metrics, because of the page traffic, because of the referring domains, and more importantly, because of how relevant this site was to my client. This one here is just like a news site that is too broad and it's built to basically sell links. Whereas this here is a specific site to the niche that my client was in with all these metrics to match it. So as I said before, that second link that I was just showing you was part of a press release thing for the client. So the client actually did this on their own without really telling me, which is fine. I didn't think it was too bad, but then once I saw the actual offer and what it was, I realized it was just not what it was put out to be. And so basically this was, I won't call out the company, but this was an ad was placed saying, hey, we'll put you in 500 different news sites and you'll get all this exposure in all these news sites for $99 or $100. I think it ended up being like $500, $600 for the brand. And they got 567 links essentially with a total potential reach of 44 million apparently. So basically what this means is the 44 million, like again, you see this and you think this is amazing. 44 million people, that is just not true. This is the amount of potential traffic that the site has. So if we go back here, they'll basically take in the domain traffic of each site and then saying your potential reach here is 17,000. It's like, well, no, it's actually 470, but as you can see, a lot of these links actually had no traffic. So I don't know where they got their numbers from, but basically it's saying that there was 44 million people across these 567 websites that you could potentially be exposed to. So again, on the surface, it looks good, especially if you don't know what you're talking about. But as we showed, the links were just not good quality at all. And so I've got an example here of one of the links that they provided along with that other DR71. So you can see here, it's a DR51. So again, the DR is pretty good, domain rating that is. But look at this, this page has 31,000 backlinks from 2,700 referring domains, but it has absolutely no traffic on the entire website. So it's got thousands of pages, it's got all these different links. So basically it's part of this like kind of link farm type thing where all these 500 different news sites are probably set up to link to each other and inflate this domain rating number here so it looks good, and then companies will sell you $500 packages to get exposure to all these links. Now the other thing as well, all of these links here, they were built within 2 weeks or something, which is ridiculously fast. Like if we go back to this one here, I took probably 3-4 weeks to find this link, go back and forth with the person and actually build the link. And so my belief is that if a link can be built within a couple of hours, then it's more than likely not going to be super effective. That's because, as I said, good quality links come from reputable websites, actual legit websites. And so to get those links, you need to put in a lot of effort to find them and to contact the person and so forth and figure out an agreement. So all these links here with all this limited traffic, and well, no traffic, I should say, they're all just inflated to look really good on the surface, but in reality, they're actually not doing that much for your brand. So I hope that was insightful. I'm going to make another video on actually how to build these links. So I'm sorry if you were looking for that in this video and you didn't get it, but check out my channel and I'll have that one out soon on how to actually build good quality links like the one I showed you in this video. But for now, hopefully that was useful. My name's Zach Walden. As I said, I make SEO content, and I also help e-commerce brands grow their organic revenue with SEO. So if that's you, click the link in the description and you can check me out and we can potentially work together. If not, see you in the next one.